Ayo, back at it again with another video. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. So, talking about 2024, it's looking more and more likely that it will be a rematch. Biden is the front runner for the Democratic nomination. Trump is the front runner for the Republican nomination. The field is still pretty, open after Trump in the Republican field. DeSantis is still polling decently. Nikki Haley still there. Um, Pence, I believe, just dropped out. Tim Scott, I think, did also. So, but more or less, it's looking like rematch of 2020. So, looking like Biden's the nominee for Democrats, Trump for Republicans. Um, yeah, I'm not a huge fan the fact that we're having a rematch, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, so we're gonna go over to YAPMS, and I haven't done a video with the website in a long time, and since last time I did a rebrand or like a restructure of their map, and I kind of like it. I like it better. So we're gonna kind of go through the different states and what I think is gonna happen. We'll start West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California, pretty solidly blue states. Same with Hawaii. Colorado also has shifted blue. It's voted blue ever since 2008. So 2 times for Obama, 16 for Clinton, 20 for Biden. Mexico is pretty solidly blue. Also, states like Illinois and Minnesota are also pretty blue. States over here on the East Coast are also pretty blue. Maine overall is pretty blue. That first congressional district is. Yeah. We'll skip over to solid red states. Alaska, pretty red. Kansas, Nebraska. Again, Nebraska and Maine do their congressional districts for electoral college appropriations. Keep going. Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina. Okay, so those are the solid blue states that I see and the solid red states that I see. And all the other states, the 205 electoral college votes, are what I would consider battleground or relatively competitive. We'll start over here on the East Coast. There's more. I believe Virginia, pretty solidly blue state at the national level. They have Glenn Youngkin voted for Republican for governor, but I think at the national level, Virginia's pretty solidly trending blue, and it's voted blue ever since 08. So Virginia, pretty blue. We'll go up to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is going to be an interesting one. Biden won it in 2020. Trump won it in 2016. But in 2022, elected a Democratic governor, Governor Shapiro. So I think Pennsylvania is lean blue because in 2022, the Democrats there in the state of Pennsylvania, or sorry, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, did pretty decently at the midterm level. We'll go up to New Hampshire. I think it is pretty lean blue also. New Hampshire at the local and state level is pretty Republican, but over the past couple election cycles has done pretty decently for the Democrats. And then Maine's second congressional district is one where it can either go lean red or like just narrowly red or just barely blue. I think Maine's second congressional district can honestly go either way. Biden would probably have the advantage due to incumbency, but it can go either way. We'll come over to Iowa. Pretty red state. Same with Ohio. Pretty red. Um, both Iowa, Ohio, and even Florida voted twice for Obama, 08, 12, and then went red for 16 and 20. So I think Iowa, pretty red state. Ohio, pretty red. Um, Nebraska's second congressional district. That is Omaha, and I think pretty lean blue. That's a metro market that is growing, and typically Democrats do better in these, urban and suburban, districts over the past couple of years. So let's go over to Michigan. I think Michigan is a state like Pennsylvania in the fact that Michigan voted for Trump in 2016, voted for Biden in 2020, and went really well for the Democrats in 2022. In Michigan in 2022, in the midterm elections, reelected Governor Whitmer and took narrow control over both the state House and state Senate. So I feel like Michigan is lean blue. It has trended back towards the Democratic column in 2020 and 2022. So if Biden can really turn out Detroit, the metro market and metro area of Detroit, then that would, I think Michigan's lean blue. Wisconsin. Wisconsin is bright purple. This can honestly go either way, but I'm gonna put it as lean narrowly blue. Governor Evers won re-election, midterms 2022, decent showing for Democrats. They even picked up the Supreme Court race that was going on there. So Democrats should feel good about Wisconsin. But honestly, Wisconsin's a toss-up. States like Texas, I think Texas is going to be closer than many people anticipate. Because in 2020, Biden pretty much closed much of the gap. I think Republicans still have like a percentage or two that they won by in 2020, but Texas is growing, I think, and that favors Democrats. But I don't think Texas goes Democrat in 24. I think Democrats have a chance of picking it up in 28. Florida, pretty red state. We'll go over to Georgia. Georgia, narrowly blue. I'm going to put it at. Because Democrats have done really well in Georgia in 2020, winning it for President Biden and picking up 2 Senate seats. But Georgia's still competitive because Governor Kemp won pretty handily as a Republican 2022 midterms. North Carolina, I'm actually going to put this as lean blue. This last election cycle, North Carolina was decided by less than a percentage point. So very, very narrow. And I think Trump has an issue with reaching out to suburban voters. I think Biden does a better job at that than Trump does. And that could potentially swing North Carolina to Biden by a narrow margin. Same thing with Arizona, and same thing with Nevada. It's more or less the same map. There might be, like, Wisconsin might go Republican. That's a possibility. I think this might be a very realistic map. I think the best case scenario for Republicans, obviously hold on to Texas. Florida, I think should be feeling pretty confident in. Keep Ohio, keep Iowa, and then you got to start trying to take back some ground in states that Biden wants, like Georgia, maybe Arizona, and then maybe Wisconsin. That's a win. It's a narrow win, but it's a win. I think if Trump is running, he's going to face some headwinds because he has a lot of baggage in, his legal stuff. But Republicans are going to face some headwinds because of, they're trying to unseat an incumbent. But I think the best case scenario for Democrats would be this, honestly. You hold on to Arizona, you hold on to Georgia, you hold on here in the upper Midwest, and, if you can catch a lucky break in North Carolina, and catch a break up here in Maine second, I think, this could definitely be a decent scenario. I don't see Florida going Democrat at all. I don't see this happening either. That might be very optimistic thinking for Democrats, but definitely blue Texas is a possibility in 2028. And I've made videos on that before. I think that's a very real possibility that Republicans aren't taking as seriously as I think they should be. But who am I to say? If this might be the best case scenario for Democrats, honestly, it might turn out the exact same, which sounds crazy. It feels like, the movie Groundhog's Day, where it just keeps happening over and over, and it feels like you're in the same simulation. But the fact that we have the exact same candidates and the fact that we could potentially have the exact same electoral map is kind of like strange. But I do think Biden does pull it out. The polls right now for him aren't looking great, but again, we're a year out, so polls for an incumbent president are always a little not too great a year or so out. Obama, everyone thought he was going to lose in 2012. He did not. There was a serious case of Bush might lose in 2004. Didn't happen. Clinton was sweating it out in 96, but he ended up winning. So I think Biden has the edge, mainly because Biden does better in suburban areas like Phoenix, Atlanta, Philly, Detroit, Milwaukee, Madison than Trump does. So, yeah. States like North Carolina and Wisconsin and even Arizona and Georgia, in my opinion, can go either way. So, to me, those are the 4 states to look for in this election: Wisconsin, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina. Because I feel like Florida, Texas, Ohio are pretty. If you're a Republican, I think you should feel confident about those states. If you're looking at your prospects, but yeah, I think Biden gets reelected. I think more or less by the same margin. I honestly don't feel like there's any movement and there's any like shift in like our political climate to warrant anything other than the status quo. So 2024, it's Groundhog's Day. Same candidates, same map maybe. So with that being said, that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. We'll see how this video ages. Maybe it will age well, maybe it won't. We'll see. Only time will tell. But that's the end of the video. I again thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Deuces.